Most people spend years wondering, replaying conversations in their heads at 2 a.m., overanalyzing a smile, a text, a glance that lasted just a little too long. If you've ever sat quietly with that feeling, that strange, electric uncertainty of not knowing if someone feels what you feel, then this video was made specifically for you. Because here's what nobody tells you: the fact that you notice these things, the fact that you pay attention to subtleties that most people walk right past, says something profound about who you are. You aren't overthinking, you are deeply perceptive. And today, psychology is going to give language to what your intuition has already been quietly telling you. What if I told you that the signs someone has a crush on you are not always loud? They're not always obvious. In fact, the most genuine feelings are often the ones people try hardest to hide. And recognizing them, truly recognizing them, requires a kind of emotional intelligence that most people simply don't have. So if you've ever felt confused or dismissed your own gut feelings as reading too much into things, stay with me. Because by the end of this video, you're going to see those feelings not as anxiety, but as an extraordinary gift. Let's talk about the first sign, and it's one that almost nobody talks about. Number 1, they become slightly nervous around you, and only you. Here's what most people miss. When someone has genuine feelings for you, their body betrays them before their words ever do. You might notice that around everyone else, this person is relaxed, articulate, funny, completely at ease. But the moment you walk into the room, something shifts. They laugh a little too quickly. They stumble over a word. They fidget with something in their hands, or they go unusually quiet. Maybe they suddenly become more careful about what they say, like they're choosing every word with a kind of quiet intention. Psychology shows that when we care deeply about someone's opinion of us, our nervous system activates what researchers call evaluation apprehension, a heightened awareness of being judged by someone whose perception matters. In other words, nervousness around you isn't awkwardness. It's evidence that you matter to them on a level they may not even fully understand yet. Think about the last time you were around someone you truly liked. Did you feel completely calm? Probably not. You probably felt that strange mix of warmth and vulnerability that makes you hyper-conscious of how you come across. That's exactly what they're experiencing around you. So the next time someone seems a little off their game when you're nearby, a little flustered, a little more careful, a little more present, don't dismiss it. That nervousness is one of the most honest things a person can show you. Number 2, they remember the small things you said, things you've already forgotten. This one is quietly one of the most powerful signs of all. You mention offhand that you like a certain kind of music. Weeks later, they bring it up. You say in passing that you've been stressed about something, and the next time they see you, they ask about it. Not because they had to, but because they were still thinking about it. Research in cognitive psychology tells us that our brains naturally prioritize information about the people we're emotionally invested in. When someone has feelings for you, your words don't just enter one ear and leave the other. They settle somewhere deep. They replay them. They think about what you meant, how you said it, why you said it. You take up space in their mental landscape in a way that most people simply don't. And here's the beautiful, overlooked truth about this. In a world where most people are only half listening, where conversations are surface level and forgotten by the next morning, being truly remembered is rare. If someone consistently recalls the details of what you share, the small moments you barely noticed yourself, you are not just another person in their life. You are someone they carry with them, quietly. Pay attention to this. It's one of the softest, most genuine forms of affection there is. Number 3, their body unconsciously orients itself toward you. This is where psychology gets fascinating. Before the mind has even made a conscious decision, the body is already speaking. Research in nonverbal communication, particularly studies building on the work of Albert Mehrabian, consistently shows that physical orientation, the direction a person's feet, torso, and gaze naturally drift toward, is one of the most reliable unconscious indicators of interest and attraction. When someone has a crush on you, they lean in when you speak. In a group setting, their body faces yours even when someone else is talking. When they laugh, they look at you first, as if checking whether you found it funny too, as if your reaction is the one that matters most. They might mirror your posture without realizing it, crossing their arms when you do, tilting their head the same way, unconsciously syncing their physical presence with yours. Think about a time you've been in a group with this person. When the room laughs, where do their eyes go? When a decision is being made, who do they glance at? The body tells the truth even when the person isn't ready to. And here's what makes you remarkable for noticing this. Most people move through social situations completely blind to these signals. They're too busy performing, too busy thinking about what to say next. But you watch. You feel the room. You sense the unspoken. That capacity for attentiveness is not common, and it is absolutely a strength. Number 4. They find reasons to be near you that aren't quite necessary. This one requires a little honest self-reflection because it's subtle. Does this person happen to show up in spaces where you are? Do they find reasons to extend a conversation that could have ended 5 minutes ago? Do they linger? Do they create small opportunities for contact, texting you about something that didn't really require a text, asking your opinion on something they probably already had an answer to? Psychology refers to this as proximity seeking, a behavior rooted in our attachment instincts, where we unconsciously or consciously position ourselves closer to the people who make us feel something. It's not manipulation. It's not calculation in any cynical sense. It is the oldest human impulse, to be near the person who makes the world feel a little more alive. When someone manufactures reasons to be around you, they are not being strange or invasive. They are being vulnerable. Every small excuse is a quiet attempt to bridge the distance between where they are and where you are. Every unnecessary question is a tiny act of courage. And if you've noticed this pattern, if part of you already knew it but kept second-guessing yourself, trust that. Your instincts are not your enemy. They are one of your greatest assets. Number 5. The quality of their attention around you is different. Here's a distinction that changes everything once you understand it. There's a difference between someone being polite to you and someone being truly present with you. Politeness is surface. Presence is something else entirely. When someone has a crush on you, they don't just hear your words. They respond to them in a way that shows they were actually listening. They ask follow-up questions that go a layer deeper. They remember context from conversations weeks ago and weave it into what you're talking about now. In a world full of distracted, half-present people, they give you something increasingly rare: their full, undivided, genuine attention. Studies on interpersonal connection show that deep attentiveness, what psychologists call active engagement, is one of the earliest and most consistent behavioral markers of romantic interest. We pay attention to what matters to us, and when you matter to someone, it shows in the quality of how they listen. This is also one of the most emotionally intelligent things you can learn to recognize in others. Not just the loudness of their affection, but the depth of it. Not how often they reach out, but how carefully they engage when they do. And the fact that you're even thinking about this, that you're attuned to these gradations of presence and attention, tells me something important about you. You are someone who gives that same quality of attention to others. And that is an extraordinary thing to be. Number 6. Something shifts in the way they treat you when other people are around. This is perhaps the most psychologically layered sign of all, and it cuts both ways. Some people become warmer around you in public, more eager to include you, more likely to bring you into conversations, more likely to defend your perspective when someone challenges it. They want others to see that they value you. But others, and this is the part that confuses people the most, become slightly more guarded, more self-conscious. They might pull back just a little, become quieter, less overtly warm, because the stakes suddenly feel higher. Because being seen caring about you by others makes the feeling more real, more exposed. And sometimes, when feelings are tender and new, exposure feels dangerous. Research in social psychology suggests that the presence of an audience intensifies emotional self-monitoring. We become more careful, more controlled, precisely when we feel the most. So paradoxically, a slight emotional retreat in group settings can sometimes signal deeper feeling, not less. What does this look like in real life? Maybe they're warm and easy with you one-on-one, but in a group, they become a little stiff, a little more careful. Maybe they don't make eye contact as freely. Maybe their humor becomes more performative, like they're suddenly aware of an audience. Notice the contrast. The gap between who they are with everyone and who they are, or become, around you, is some of the most revealing information you'll ever observe about another person. Now here's what I want you to hold on to as this video comes to a close. You came here today because some part of you already knew. Not with certainty, maybe, but with that quiet, persistent sense that something is there. And the fact that you're seeking to understand it, seeking to be sure, seeking to make sense of something that hasn't yet been said out loud, that is not weakness. That is not insecurity. That is one of the most emotionally intelligent things a person can do. Most people stumble blindly through connection. They miss what's right in front of them. They dismiss their instincts. They wait until the moment has already passed and then wonder, years later, what might have happened if they had paid attention. But not you. You pay attention. You notice. You feel the texture of how people treat you, not just the content of their words, but the energy behind them. You can sense when something is real and when something is performance. That capacity, that level of emotional awareness, is not something that can be taught from a textbook. It is something you have cultivated through experience, through empathy, through learning to trust what you feel even when no one else can see it. The person who has a crush on you? They probably don't fully understand why they feel the way they do. But something in them recognized something in you. Something worth being nervous around, something worth remembering, something worth creating reasons to be near. That something is you. And the more you understand yourself, the more you learn the language of psychology, of behavior, of the quiet signals people send, the more clearly you'll be able to read not just others, but the extraordinary story of your own life. If this video resonated with you, if something here made you feel seen, or gave a name to something you'd been sensing for a while, please subscribe. Because every week, we go deeper into the psychology of who you are, how others see you, and the hidden strengths that make you genuinely rare. You deserve to understand yourself completely, and we're just getting started.